July 27, 1999.
Your home is there. Your friends are there. It's your town. And then new people move in.
I don't want to come off as prejudiced, because I'm not prejudiced by no means. I'm not, you know.
Who don't look like you or talk like you.
These people have the feeling that if you don't look like me, I don't really like you that much.
And sometimes they feel as if you don't like them much either.
They don't really expect to fit in perfectly anyway. So they just try to manage and hope for a better future for their children, which is the main reason they came to the United States anyway.
Tonight, new faces on Main Street.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Chris Wallace.
One of the central ideas behind the growth of this country has been the great American melting pot. The notion that successive waves of immigrants come here from around the world, blend in with everyone else, and become Americans. In fact, it hasn't worked out that way, or at least not that smoothly. Each wave of immigrants has tended to view the next wave as intruders, not as educated or hardworking, and certainly not good for property values. They may become American, but not without a struggle. There's a small town in New Jersey called Palisades Park where it is happening all over again. After years of dominance, Irish and Italian Americans there have got some new neighbors from Guatemala and Korea. And one of the fascinating lessons at Palisades Park is that sometimes the only thing harder than having to deal with newcomers who are too poor is having to deal with some who are too successful. Nightline's Michelle McQueen on the melting pot that isn't.
This is Palisades Park. But it could be any small town in America. There's a Main Street. Here it's Broad Avenue. A swim club. A parade every now and again. And a big turnout for the high school graduation. But about 10 years ago, this little town in northern New Jersey started to change.
And it started with a group of 10, and then eventually mushroomed to a group of several hundred, all waiting on corners for contractors to pick them up every day.
They'll make comments, and they'll stand in front of you. They won't let you pass sometimes. It depends. Not everyone, but there's a bunch that will do that.
Yeah, that's been a problem here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people resent them.
Really? What do you feel about them, the day laborers?
I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem as a homeowner having 50, 70 men on one corner waiting for work.
Nobody remembers how or why men from a few villages in Guatemala started migrating to this particular town. But Elizabeth Lorente, who covers immigration for The Record, figured out why they kept coming.
They started sending word back to the hinterlands of Guatemala that here was a place where if you were willing to work hard, you could stand in the shadows of immigration law, you could stand in the corner and get work.
This young man, who agreed to talk to us if he didn't show his face, told us he followed his brother here 4 months ago.
¿Cuánto? Al mes. I'm able to send about $500 a month back home.
The men worked long hours and tried to stay out of the way, but there were too many of them to go unnoticed, and many residents did not like what they saw.
They go to the bathroom out on the street.
Is that true?
It's totally disgusting.
Really? You've seen this?
Have you seen it? You see it all over the walls. I'm afraid to walk down one avenue in my town.
There followed the predictable uproar, demands for a crackdown, followed by complaints of police harassment, angry letters to the newspapers, political fallout.
This came as a shock to this town, which is only a square mile, has 15,000 people, and had long been the domain of Irish and Italian Americans.
But in many ways, it was merely history repeating itself.
We've always reflected the waves of immigrants out of New York City.
Frank Patty is the town historian.
The Italians came early on at the turn of the century. The Irish and German came a little before that. So I think if you look at Palisades Park's growth, you'll see that it's tied to the streets of Lower Manhattan, because as people became more affluent and they wanted a better life for their family, the first stop was the East Bergen County area, particularly Palisades Park.
For example, Korean families also started moving in and buying small shops on Broad Avenue. And as the Guatemalans settled in, something interesting happened, town people say. What started as anger and fear turned into something like recognition and respect. The original residents started to see something familiar in the men, something that reminded the old-timers of their struggle to make it in America.
I think the old-timers, considering when they came over, they came as a group. I think they've taken to these people that came after them.
Sandy Farber is the mayor of Palisades Park.
And they're very good people. They work very, very hard, and it's tough.
And while the town was arriving at something like a truce with the Guatemalan men, something else started to change. The trickle of Korean families became a wave. Like the Guatemalans before them, they looked at Broad Avenue and saw an opportunity.
The Koreans in New York learned about Palisades Park because it's close to highways, and many of them live in Manhattan or worked in Manhattan. And real estate agencies started advertising Palisades Park as the place to come to in Korean newspapers, both in New York and Queens and also in Seoul.
Koreans bought a carpet store, then a restaurant, then another restaurant, and then the pizza parlor was gone, and then the Italian butcher, and the 5 and 10.
And then the things that people identified with little by little were disappearing. And so when it got to be enough of those experiences, and when enough people in town started having those reactions, that's where the tension started shifting.
To shift, in other words, to the new newcomers, and the people who made the old-timers uncomfortable, the subject of meetings and tense talk at the swim club, were no longer the brown men with calloused hands waiting on the street corner. It was the Korean men and women in business suits, and they owned the corner.
As a nation, we pride ourselves on welcoming immigrants, but we want them to be American and to speak like Americans as soon as possible. When they don't, especially when they're not downtrodden, the usual native versus newcomer tensions get turned upside down, as we'll see in part 2 of Michelle McQueen's report when we return.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Pfizer.
We keep families strong. We mend broken hearts. We make people smile. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2.5 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures. We're going to find them. Pfizer. Life is our life's work.
There comes a point when one more sequin will ruin the dress, when one more brushstroke will spoil the painting. There comes a point when anything more is simply more. Park Avenue by Buick. Power, comfort, unparalleled elegance. And now, Park Avenue is even more rewarding. It's luxury, pure and simple.
Okay, things are changing fast. Think you're keeping up? Things change again. Robotics, cloning, cyber, love, time. Time is ticking, but does faster really mean better? So few answers, so many terrific questions as we head into a brave new world Thursday.
Ever feel like walking into a showroom and telling the salesperson how much you want to pay? When your Toyota dealer starts crunching numbers, you can.
And crunching the numbers has allowed us to extend the 4.8 financing offer on any new Tacoma pickup. We've also extended the $1,000 customer cash back. Or you can still lease a Tacoma for just $159 a month. It's your choice.
When your Toyota dealer crunches the numbers, I decide how much to pay. Don't miss a summer crunch going on now at your Toyota dealer.
Oh no! Look!
It's a termite stampede.
Fear not, my wood friends. There's a new sheriff in town.
The Orkin Man!
Yeah! It's roundup time.
You got a rule!
Knock on wood.
No need, Chief. You've got this.
Oh, I can guarantee.
Yep, total satisfaction or your money back.
Got termites? Call Orkin for a free inspection and guaranteed protection.
Let's move them out.
As in a lot of small towns around the country, downtown Palisades Park, the center of town, was dying.
There were a lot of abandoned storefronts. The Koreans arrived and looked down Broad Avenue and saw a pathway to the American dream.
To the newcomers, it was, if not a welcome mat, at least an open door. But to the old-timers, this American dream looked different.
This is you?
Yeah, I'm carrying the Veteran of Foreign Wars flag.
Okay.
Yep.
You're not trying to hide back there,
No,
are you?
Tom Albanese has lived in Palisades Park since he was 2.
The immigrants that we're familiar with that came to Ellis Island, they came here because they wanted to come here for a new life. These people, Koreans, came here to make a new life better for themselves. They come here with money, big investments.
True or not, many people we spoke with in Palisades Park believe the town has gone Korean. But according to a report by the County Human Relations Commission, 16% of the town's 15,000 residents are Hispanic. 30% are Korean. A majority is white. But Koreans do own 90% of the town's 200 businesses. And to the old-timers, it seemed as if the Koreans were setting up their own town within the town. The Koreans founded a Korean PTA and Korean sports teams. They revived the dormant Chamber of Commerce and held the meetings in Korean, just to save time, they said, since the members are mostly Korean.
I go to shop there, they raise the prices for us. But
And then the rumors started that the Koreans refused to serve non-Koreans, that they were only pretending they couldn't speak English, that their stores had 2 sets of prices, higher ones for non-Koreans.
A friend of mine who's a teacher speaks Korean and reads it, but she spoke English and said, how much is this? And they gave her one price, and then when she read the bottom of the paper in Korean, it was higher price.
Was higher price?
Yeah, and they'll tell you, if you want to buy something, send a friend in who's Korean.
Whether any of that is true or not, the anger boiled over. Some Korean-owned stores were pelted with eggs and tomatoes. No one was arrested, but one thing became clear. Many longtime residents felt that Palisades Park was not their town anymore.
Everyone knew each other today. You could go through town, you don't know anybody.
You don't know anybody.
Hardly. All people that I've known and grown up with have moved out.
It has changed. Well, let me ask you this. Is it the fact that the people who've moved in are of a different race, different ethnicity? Is that part of why it feels different?
Maybe, but it doesn't bother me that it is. You know, there's a lot of Spanish, there's a lot of Korean, more Korean, I guess.
Like she said, they don't mingle, like they don't try to, maybe it's because it's the language barrier. Like a lot of them still don't speak English, you know, and they feel like they have to keep to themselves. But
have you tried to reach
yeah,
out to them?
yeah.
I mean, have you tried, you know, to go over with the, I don't know, bottle of wine or a pound cake or something? I don't know. Have you really?
Yeah, kind of. We did. I had a neighbor that was Korean, used to play with the kids, and it was just hello, how are you, and that was it.
Most people here do acknowledge that Korean businesses have stabilized the town's economic base. Officials estimate that fully half of the town's tax revenue, $21 million, comes from Korean businesses and residents. But only a fraction of Korean residents are eligible to vote, which might help explain the ordinances, all adopted in the last 3 years. Among them, store signs were required to be at least 50% English language. Stores were required to close between 12 and 6 a.m. Most restaurants between 3 and 6 a.m. In fact, if any one thing serves as a symbol of the conflict between the old residents and the new, it is the fight over closing times for the karaoke bars. To the Koreans, who prefer to call them music studios, they are a part of the culture, a way to let off steam after a long day, perfectly innocent. especially since they don't serve alcohol. The law says they must close at 1 a.m. But the All-American Diner, which does serve alcohol, can stay open all night.
We are not a 24-hour-a-day town. We do not wish to have Palisade Park to be the Las Vegas of the East.
To the Korean businessmen, some of whom have been fined thousands of dollars for closing late, it's about respect for their culture and for their contribution to the town.
I'm very sad and I'm angry. I don't know what to do.
I was told that the Korean was the right race to be targeted.
When I came 15 years ago, when I came to this country is a freedom country. It's a very nice country. When I came to Palisade Park, I find out no.
Even some Koreans who don't patronize the studios, like this local clergyman, see tinges of racism in the karaoke battle.
Do I want a business that goes on for 24 hours, which is toward entertainment? Personally, no, I don't. Okay? But when it involves my ethnic community, that brings a total different feeling. You know, I feel my people are getting oppressed by the local government.
But the mayor and many other old-timers insist the Koreans have only themselves to blame by thinking of their community first and the rest of the town second.
They do not come to mayor and council meetings. We have 150 volunteer ambulance and fire department people. We only have one Korean who has volunteered, youngster. We'd like to see more of that. I constantly am saying, why don't the Korean community respond to that?
The whole civic life is very different in Korea. In Korea, what citizens expect to do, you work hard, pay tax, and for the election for the Congress or the president, they vote. That's about it. But, you know, of course, in America, it's very different.
As is so often the case in a small town, the political became personal. Things got so bad between the mayor and the businessmen that the mayor refused to show up at a Harmony picnic last July, although it was his idea. But those who take the long view see it another way, as growing pains, another chapter in the saga of the town. It's about change and growth. It's an American story.
I feel a sense of continuity. I feel a sense that we're experiencing what people 20 years, 40 years, 6 generations have experienced. I think Palisades Park will always reflect that trend as all this area, because we are the gateway to America.
How the next generation sees the uneasy truce between old-timers and new immigrants when we return with part 3 of Michelle McQueen's report in a moment.
Avalon, because peace and quiet aren't going to come looking for you.
August is around the corner, so get to Sears Goodbye July tire sale for hot deals on top brand name tires. Like the VF Goodrich Plus tire as low as $22.99, including a 50,000-mile limited treadwear warranty. And Sears low price guarantee means you'll get the tire you want at the right price. Hurry to the Goodbye July tire sale, where you'll find thousands of tires in stock. Sears, your smart stop for tires and batteries.
How far have we gone? Where else will we go? Find out in Science Times every Tuesday. The New York Times. Expect the world.
Ask your doctor about Viagra.
Seafoam dress, $200.
Seafoam shoes, $90. A friend worth wearing seafoam for? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Coming up, it's Tatiana Ali, Tavis Smiley, Tom Likas, and Dave Foley.
He's inviting all the homeless over for dinner.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher coming up.
Just for Feet has the shoes you love most in the newest styles and colors. Like the Nike Air XL 90 Cross Trainer.
Wow.
And the Nike Pippin 3 basketball shoe.
Cool.
And the Nike International Triax running shoe.
This is great.
In fact, Just for Feet has shoes for all sports. Baseball, basketball, hiking, walking, soccer, wrestling, running, golf, tennis, football. Over 3,000 shoes in stock every single day.
Palisades Park reflects changes going on in small towns and cities across the nation. The newest immigrants, mostly Hispanic and Asian, may look different from some previous waves of newcomers. But just as with the Irish and Italians before them, the same complaints are voiced. They stick together too much, they don't learn English fast enough, and so on. As Michelle McQueen found out, as usual, it's left to the younger generation to work things out.
We asked a handful of students from the class of 1999 at Palisades Park High School how they are dealing with a multicultural America, or at least they're part of it in Palisades Park.
How many of your parents were born in the United States? And how many of your parents were born somewhere else? Most of you were born, a lot of you were born elsewhere, many of your parents were born elsewhere. So how do you think of yourselves now?
I don't think I consider myself as like an American or Korean, or I don't know, I'm so used to being like, having all these friends that are a little bit of everything.
With all this ethnic diversity around me, it's always like, I'm always like the white guy, the token white guy up there.
I like to consider myself Korean American, and I'm proud to have, to be able to adapt to both.
I can't consider myself either or. I came here at a very young age, so I speak American just as well as I speak Persian. I have both sides influencing me.
Yeah, my family's originally from Puerto Rico. My mother grew up in New York, and I've learned to take pride in both being American and being Puerto Rican. When I first tried to make friends, one girl's mother told her that I was too dark to hang out with her. But the town's changed a lot over the past years, over the past recent years.
Changed for the better or for the worse?
Changed for the better.
With all this ethnic diversity going around, there's always going to be a little bit of prejudice.
Like, what kinds of things have you heard on all sides? Just give an example.
What things have I heard that, the first thing we have to do is to get rid of these people.
Is there an in-group and an out-group here? And if so, who's in and who's out?
It's like there's an Asian crowd, there's a Hispanic crowd, and there's the popular crowd. That's when, in every high school, you're always going to see a popular crowd.
Are the popular kids any one race at Pal Park? No? The cool kids can be any race? There are cool
There's a mix. Nothing is really based on race in our school.
Exactly.
But it seems as though there have been conflicts here.
I know, I've gone into stores and felt a little uncomfortable.
Why did you feel uncomfortable?
Well, because it's a different culture, and, sometimes there are language problems, and it's just different,
Nick, what about you? Do you ever go into the Korean-owned stores and not feel like you belong there?
Well, I don't feel like I belong in the 5 and 10, which has been there since I was 5.
It's Korean-owned now.
You don't feel resentment? No, it's different, I don't like it anymore, that kind of thing?
It's always been a small town. I mean, it's like they feel like it's like they're in an alien movie and they're the minority.
I think that maybe when the store owners first come here, they think, they come to America expecting the stereotypes to see on TV and stuff to be true. I guess everybody kind of compares the typical Caucasian male as like the standard for a culture, and then and so when they walk in, it's not a strange or weird thing because you're in America, it's predominantly white, so you expect white people in your stores. Yeah, but then in a town like Palisades Park, where there are more than single dominant culture, you don't really know what to expect, and so you don't really know how to react to it, and so you kind of set yourself up for anything, and that kind of creates tension on both sides.
As a white person, I've never been scrutinized or anything, but perhaps other people have been.
In the cafeteria, do you all eat lunch in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Who sits with who? Tell the truth.
There's a Spanish section.
Is
There's
there?
a Korean section. Yeah. There's a popular section.
But you'll have your mix
But then,
as well.
there are countless number of mixed groups.
My table, there's a Korean, I'm Persian, I have an Italian, a Greek, Filipino girl.
Okay, I'm not trying to be mean about it. The popular table, is it all white?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Usually the ethnic tables tend to include people who don't speak English well, or they don't have a common language with other people they can speak together. I just think it's a normal thing because until time is given for people to integrate, that it's going to happen. You can't expect somebody just to come from another country, speak another language, then all of a sudden to become part of everybody else.
I mean, living life in Palisades Park has overcoming that whole color barrier. It's given me it's given all of us this strength. You disagree?
I think Palisades Park is ahead of its time, but it's what America is becoming.
When you think about what America will be, particularly as regards to how the races relate to each other, do you feel optimistic or pessimistic?
I feel optimistic about it.
Optimistic.
Seeing our school and how well we've come together and knowing our parents and how it might have been a little bit more difficult for them, I see a trend sort of starting. Optimistic.
And I'll be back in a moment.
Discover the great-tasting fiber therapy that won't produce excess gas. Discover Citracel. People prefer the taste of Citracel over Metamucil 2-to-1. Taste tests prove it. Citracel. No excess gas and better taste, too.
When was the last time you drove just for the fun of it? Why doesn't somebody bring that back? Meet the new Chevy Impala. Designed, engineered, and built to be the most carefree car on the road.
Let's go for a drive.
Need brakes? Get the best in the business to install them. And a lifetime guarantee honored at every Midas nationwide. Go safely, go Midas.
Injury lawyer J. Marshall Hughes.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, don't sign anything from the insurance company until you talk to us. We'll help you get money for your car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages. We'll make sure you're treated fairly. At Hughes & Coleman, we'll work hard to get you the money you deserve. I'm J. Marshall Hughes, and that's my promise.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, you need Hughes & Coleman. Call 255-9100.
Just for feet. For all the best K-Swiss has to offer, like the classic casual shoe for men, women, and kids. Check out the newest in casual K-Swiss, like the Lanark or the North Arosa. For the best in performance tennis footwear, the Defier GSX. Or connect up with our best K-Swiss buys. $19.99 for the Surf and Turf, where the 13th beer is free.
Tomorrow in Good Morning America, live from Los Angeles with Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson, a look at race on television. And that's our report for tonight. I'm Chris Wallace in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Nightline is always on with abcnews.com, now part of the Go Network. If you'd like a transcript or video cassette of this or any other edition of Nightline, please dial 1-800-CALL-ABC.
Nightline has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. abcnews.com, now a part of the Go Network.
Duvall, Woods, live Monday night at 8 on ABC.
Catch Sports with John Dwyer on News 2 at 5, 6, and 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher. Bill's guests tonight, Dave Foley, Tatiana Ali, Tom Leykis, and Tavis Smiley.
Very kind. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, boy. See, they're happy.